First of all, my name is Sandra Cunningham, and this is very, very, very hard for me to do, to sit here. My heart is very heavy. I'm appealing to those out there that have information that they can share with the police department and let us know. We all have a moral conscience, a responsibility to our society to turn in individuals like this and come forward with this type of information. My son was a loving guy. He was charismatic. He was not a individual that would hurt someone. That's why I'm so sorrow, and I have such a sorrow in my heart that someone would do that to him. The loss to our family is traumatic. He was very supportive in terms of me and my husband. He did things for us to help us out around the house, things that kids do, and he was very compassionate about the type of things that he would get involved in. Again, like I say, this is very difficult for me to sit here and continue to talk of my son in this way because it's just hard to think that he's not with us anymore. I'm going to ask my husband, Andrew, to come up and say what he has to say. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Cunningham. I'm Carlus's father. I'd like to afford the opportunity right now to thank Crime Stoppers and the Detroit Police Department for giving us this opportunity to plead for anyone that knows that what happened on this particular day, Monday, January the 30th, to our son. Our loving son who didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves to die like this, with so much to offer, so much to give to the community and to their family. It was a situation where Carlus is missed tremendously, just as anyone else in this day and times that we're having in the city of Detroit and our community would be missed. We need to get this individual off the street as soon as possible before he does something like this again, before they think they got away with this dastardly crime that was committed upon Carlus Wade. We need someone to come forward. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Who has the first question?
If I could talk to maybe Mr. or Mrs. Cunningham. How did the day begin that day? Just like any other or what?
Basically, that particular day, he left the house, said he was going to the store, walking up to the store to buy cigarettes. At that time, he and I were at home together. So when he left, that's what he told me he was going to do. I didn't see him at that time until I got a phone call letting me know later on that what had happened to him.
Was the store at the gas station, the BP station?
I don't know. I don't know which store he went to. But usually he would go to the store in that general area.
And what route did he normally take?
Usually from near the Southfield Freeway down Faust. We lived on Faust.
And what was your son wearing that day? You heard of what the suspect might have been wearing?
A green car coat-like outer garment with blue jeans and I believe it was a black or navy blue cap.
Was it a bright green?
It was more or less an army green. I believe it was an army green color that he had on that particular day.
So if somebody noticed your son, perhaps they might have seen the suspect as well.
I'm sure someone in the neighborhood saw them walking together and should notice Carlus, because Carlus was 6'4" tall. So he was hard not to notice when he's walking down the street, So I believe someone did notice him during that time, because I believe it was light when he left the home. So it wasn't dark, so it was still light out.
What message would you like to impart to anyone who may have seen something, thinks they know something, but is somehow afraid to come forward?
The message I have is that we've been doing this far too long. Murder has become an epidemic in our community, in our city. The police need help in apprehending these people who are committing these crimes. The quickest way to receive this help is for us to speak up and come out before one of your family members becomes the next victim. So many of our citizens in the city of Detroit have been touched by crime now. And this is the greatest crime of all, to take someone's life. So before it happens again, the community needs to get together and come and make an honest effort to respond to this kind of crime that's going on, eating our community up alive.
Time to say enough.
Of course it is. I mean, this can't go on like this, or you won't have a community.
How old is your son?
Carlus was 47 years old. Yeah, he had much of his whole life ahead of him.
Tell me about his younger days. Grew up in Detroit?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Carlus was always a tinkerer. Energetic, up and down the street, had a lot of friends, always had a lot of friends. You know, but at an early age, he was very adept at putting model cars and stuff together. That was his hobby. That's what he liked to do. So he had a skill level that led him into his aptitude for electronic engineering and what have you. He enjoyed it immensely. That's why around the house, anything broke down, I'll do it. You want me to do it? He runs up and gets me. I'll do it. No, do it like this. It's better to do it that way. He was always like that with me. And so anything broke down in the house, we let Carlus come on and fix this. And he was glad to do it because he enjoyed working with his hands and enjoyed getting into stuff.
Was he active in the fraternity?
Yes, he was. He joined the fraternity, I believe, in 1985, and he was active member in it until he started working in the different plants and what have you. But he was very active, and his brothers were very supportive of him.
How many siblings does he have?
We have one younger son who resides in Chicago now, Jamar Cunningham.
Two children.
Two children, yes.
And was he working at a plant currently, or had he been laid off?
No, he had been laid off. He had been downsized at a plant, American Axle, I believe. So he had been working odd jobs and temporary services. He also had taken additional courses, additional classes to upgrade his skills and to venture out in other areas as a CNC programmer. So he's done that, So in these hard times in the economy, it was depressing for him not to be able to work in the field that he'd chosen. So he was trying everything to do that.
So you would call him certainly an asset to the community?
Of course. Carlus enjoyed helping everybody. He helped me with different stuff. He'd go over to his grandmother's house and work on her house and work on her snow. I mean, he was a helpful individual.
Say that he was helpful at the BP station, helping pump gas for folks just up there, just
do that,
contributing and
do that. He did.
How long was he doing that for?
I don't know. Off and on, ever since last summer or sometime, he started doing that. As far as I know.
So people would recognize him.
People in the community knew Carlus. We had a lot of people that came forth and told us how helpful Carlus had been to them, helping people start their cars and what have you. In the neighborhood, he did that. He had to stay busy to keep his mind active and what have you. He kept himself busy.
So was this a robbery? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know what caused it. I don't know the perpetrator or who he was hanging with at that particular time.
Does the detective know, do you have any leads on an MO?
At this time, I don't know why it happened. That's why we're focused. Excuse me. At this time, I don't know why it happened. That's why we're trying to focus on the who. People seen this person, so.
Can you tell us what you do know about what happened leading up to the shooting?
Just as we discussed earlier, he was walking up the street with the individual, so it's apparently that he knew him. This individual produced a handgun and shot him several times. And we thinking it's somebody he knows, and it's probably somebody that the neighborhood knows. And that's why we're reaching out to the neighborhood to see if, somebody will help us out with information on who this person is.